I am Anita. If you're new to me and my channel, welcome. I'm a yoga teacher and a personal trainer who was diagnosed with mild spinal stenosis as well as L4 herniated disc on my left side. This is just to say to you that I am not a physical therapist. I am just a regular person who thought that she was really taking good care of herself, and this happened. So it's just to say that anything can happen in life. There's no guarantees, but the key thing is to get a diagnosis and also make sure that you get the right exercises that can help you to heal, because the body knows how to heal if it's put in the right positions. I'm sharing with you this video and other videos. You can find them in a link in the description box below in a folder or a playlist where they will all be nice and neatly kept. And I hope that this can help you. So this first video is all about creating some space and also creating relief. When I was doing this, I was a little bit ahead of the game, so I knew that this routine was really helping me, but I was still in the inflammation phase where I would feel a lot of pain in my hip and down my leg. I was also on naproxen 2 times a day, so it was making me a little bit loopy in my head, and I think that my mouth was probably also a bit dry because I do a lot of this. So I apologize in advance for that, but I'm just sharing this with that good intention, hoping that maybe it can inspire you and help you, especially if you feel like you're in a really dark tunnel, because this kind of feels like it goes on forever and ever, and that there's never ever going to be a time when you're in less pain. But trust me, there will be that time. It will come. But I did this routine 2 to 3 times a day, and I actually in the beginning only focused on my left side. That's really all that I could do. So it worked fine. One tool that I'm sharing in the video is this spiky ball. It is my BFF. It has helped me out so much. It's still helping me out, but really this gave me so much relief. I highly recommend that you invest in one, and I'll link to this one in the description box below as well, so you can check that one out. Okay, I think that is basically it. You might also see in the video that I'm moving quite stiffly, and because my neck and my shoulders felt really stiff because I was constantly protecting my upper body from the pain that I was feeling from my lower body, or I was using my upper body a lot to protect my lower body. So yeah, we just got to do what we got to do. But anyway, I know this is a long intro, but I had to say these things in order to be able to share this video. Let me know if it works for you. I would love to hear from you. Give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who you know might have the same condition as me, and I hope that it can help. I'll see you on the mat. The hardest thing can be initially to get down onto the floor. Make sure that you have everything that you need around you. I really recommend that. So what I have is a chair, I have a yoga bolster, a strap, as well as the massage ball, and I also have a pillow. I like this pillow, but you can of course use any kind of pillow, and then very gradually make your way down into the floor. And the way that helped me the most to get down onto the floor was to use my arms quite a lot and then go down on my left side, which is the side that I have the herniated disc. So I try to go down like this, and then very gradually work my way onto my back. And this initially was just excruciatingly painful. But then once I was able to find a position, then I would just settle into that position. I would sometimes keep my legs bent like this, as in a constructive rest position, or sometimes I would put the yoga bolster behind my knees and let my legs be a little bit more bent like this, and spend a little bit of time with some deep breathing. So inhaling through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And as you're breathing fully in and fully out, just feel that you're filling up your belly, and then just imagine that all of the air is moving into your sides as well as into your back, like you're trying to fill up a cylinder, and allowing your back then just very gradually to settle in. This really helped me in the beginning, so there's a lot of power in the breath. Then I would take the ball and I would start off around the L4, and keeping the buttocks lifted, or the pelvis lifted, and keeping the buttocks engaged. And I would just put it right into the area that was just really sore. And then really stay with the breath. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to really stay with your breath and only do what feels good. Like that you can feel immediately that it gives you release. And then I would move it around a little bit, a little further up, and then right in the middle, exactly onto the L4, and then a little further down, more down towards the sacrum. And just start to notice how that feels, and just really go by feel. And then gradually I move my hips a little bit side to side. And this always gives me so much relief. It's the favorite part of the program. And I would spend just as much time as I, really needed to, just really soaking it all up. And then very gradually then I would move down into the piriformis, like right in the middle of the buttocks. And from here, either just allow my weight to go down, and I still do this, allow my weight to go down into the ball. And sometimes I move my leg, a little bit up and down this way. And then I move my hips again a little bit side to side, just to massage the area. So I encourage you to spend some time here and notice where your tight spots are or is. And once you find them, start to notice if when you're on that point or those points, if it gives you relief. And then I would go a little bit more towards my outer upper hip, the gluteus medius and minimus. And I've felt a lot of pain into that area because the whole nerve, L4 nerve, runs through here. And even though it feels like it's hip pain, it is hip pain because it is coming from the L4, from the spine. Good, and I would just hold it here. And sometimes if it's okay, then I'll lift my leg and move my leg a little bit back and forth. And I basically just play around with it, like truly listen to yourself and follow your own inner knowing. And as you continue to play with it, you will start to notice, these changes and these differences, and you'll know exactly where to go, what to target. Okay, and feel free to pause the video and spend a little bit more time there if you want to. And I do like to keep my head on a pillow just to keep the spine in a little bit more in alignment. And after I've done the ball, I'll just allow my pelvis to settle in and then do a few rounds of full inhales and complete exhales, just to allow everything to settle in. But already, once I've done this ball, oh my God, it just is heaven. So grateful for that ball. And then I'll take the yoga strap. You can also, of course, use a belt, and I'll put this around my foot. And see, even this position, I really need the strap in order to be able to get into it. And I'll hold the strap with my right hand. I'll take the left thumb into the left hip crease and draw my hip away, just to create a little bit more space there into the hip. And I'll just extend my leg as far as I can. And, you know, it is quite humbling. You know, I do have a lot of flexibility, but, you know, at the moment, I don't have as much flexibility as I once used to have. And this is one of the traps of the mind, is that we can compare to what it is that we had. We just have to pay attention to what it is that we can do right now. And if you allow yourself just to be here now and just accept what is and stay with the breath, your nervous system and your mind will quiet down. And I feel that that's just a really huge part of the rehabilitation and the healing. And I'll just hold it here. And I feel that this also helps to create a lot of space into the spine and into the hips, or the hip. If I can draw my leg a little bit closer, then I'll do that. But this is not the moment of like trying to stretch my edge. Good. And then I'll bend and gradually release and come out of it. And all the while I'm really engaging through my core so that I'm stabilizing. And then I'll place the left ankle on top of my right thigh. So basically on top above the knee and at the bottom of the thigh. And I'll gently support the thigh with the heel of my hand to draw the knee and the thigh a little bit away from me. Again, just to create a little bit more space in my hip, because I just felt like that area just felt like it was just crunching up and tightening up. And just stay with the breath. Initially, I just kept this position. And then when I started to feel that it was okay, engaged the core, and I gradually started to lift my leg up. And now you can also place your right foot against the wall. I'm not going to turn myself around, because I felt that once I took myself out of this position to get to the wall, I felt like I undid the good that I had done, if that makes sense. So I would just stay here, or put the foot on the chair as well. And then I would continue to draw from the heel of my hand onto the thigh, moving the leg away as I'm drawing the right knee towards my chest. Okay, you can also support yourself on the thigh with your right hand. So just know that I'm focusing right now just on my left side. Full breath in, full breath out. Good, and release. So again, remember, it's not about getting the deepest stretch that you could possibly get here. The key here is just to get release and relief so that you can almost like find your breath again. That's how it felt for me. Right, then you can place your feet all the way together. Might have to move a little bit to the side here. And with your legs together, really drawing your legs together, draw in through the core, letting the thighs drop over to the side. And now your feet don't have to be like completely even and together. The top one can be a little bit in front of the bottom one. That's okay. Initially, when I started to do this, it didn't hurt, but it didn't feel as releasing as it does now. So I didn't go as far to the ground. And I would also put a yoga block under my legs just to give my legs a little bit support. Now this feels very releasing and it feels really good. So just really play with your range of motion, and if you feel like this does not feel good at all, feel free to omit it. Breathe in fully. Exhale completely. And then to come out of it, it's very important that you draw in through your abs, squeeze the legs together, and then slowly, slowly, slowly come back to the center. Okay? And just again, let that settle. So you want to try to take those little pauses in between each of the movements or the exercises. I find that very, very important. Okay, now we're going to turn ourselves to an all-four position. And what I have liked to do is to turn myself to the side, onto my left side. So if your situation is on your right side, then you turn over to your right side. And then again, I use my arms to support me. I draw in through the core and I gradually come up like this. This was another position that I just discovered, I feel, by luck, by chance. I keep my legs in front of each other, but like basically on top of each other. And then I keep my chest lifted and I gently rotate towards the floor. And I lower my forearms to the floor. Now I can go all the way down, but initially I stood a little bit, higher. And I just felt like this was just such a nice release and helped to create a lot of opening. And also it was a very gentle and good stretch into my outer upper hip, which was just so painful and uncomfortable. So you can hold it here, but if you feel like this is too much, then don't do it. Full breath in, full breath out. Okay, then to come out of it, draw in through the abdomen and gradually straighten the arms out and see if you can slowly work your hands towards you. And then from there, draw up into the core and gradually come onto all fours. Okay, and now we're going to do a child's pose, and from the child's pose I draw up into my core and slowly draw the hips back. And initially I just held the position here. I even had a bolster. I'll show you. Like this initially, letting my hips draw back into my heels and just almost, it's a little bit like slumping into the shoulders, but because the arms are supported against the bolster, it felt releasing. I don't know if you've noticed yourself, but I was tensing up my shoulders and my neck so much in protection for my back that they would get really tight. So actually kind of slumping a little bit into it feels releasing. And then when I was feeling okay there, then I gradually would work my way, down towards the floor here. And then eventually I could extend my arms out. But that was just very hard in the beginning. I won't go all the way down because of my mic. And then I would slowly work my left hand towards the right and keep the right arm bent. And I would then take a hold of my elbows and rest my forehead onto my hands like this. But again, because of my mic, I won't go all the way down. But you'll feel the stretch into the left side. But if you have this on your right side, then you will do the opposite, of course. Good, and slowly come back up to the center. Okay, that feels really good for me right now. Now the next thing is to try to get off the floor, and that was another thing. One thing to get onto the floor, the next thing was to get off the floor. And what I found just most helpful in the beginning is to lift up onto my knees or my shins, let my spine settle in here a little bit, just allow the vertebrae to like find their way into a vertical position. And then I would use the chair, curl my toes under, draw up into the core, press through the arms, and then gradually come up this way. I found that just so much better than to do one leg at a time, and then gradually come up to a standing position. All right. And then when I was now in the standing position, I would just feel all of this activity in my left leg, and it was just super painful. I don't feel that right now, but that's how it was initially. I'm going to adjust the camera, and we're going to do one last stretch against the wall. All right. Now, if you need to move stuff away from your space, make sure that you bend your legs and use your legs. So this is a good reminder to not use the back, but to use the legs. All right, takes a lot of effort. We go against the wall. I have my left side against the wall because I'm going to stretch my left side. My feet are about hip distance apart or shoulder distance apart, reaching the left arm up and just letting the left hip rest against the wall. I like to support my head with my hand, and you can let the second arm rest at the side and just feel the chest opening up towards the sky, and you'll feel that deep stretch into the side body there. Breathe in and breathe out. So trying to hold it for like a good 15 to 30 seconds. And again, it's not about, bending the deepest. You work with the range of motion that you have, and you start to notice a difference and a change over time. Initially, my mind was saying, how is this going to help? I don't think this will help. But it's amazing how these simple exercises do help in the rehabilitation. You just have to trust it. Okay, and then to come out of it, press with the feet, draw up into the core, and gradually come up. Yay. And then just notice how you feel. Notice if it feels like there is a little bit more space, like you get a little bit of room to breathe. And then just pay attention to your posture as you walk through the rest of your day, as you need to maybe pick something up from the floor, like really bend your legs, use your abs. And I will see you in the next video. I'll just show you the progression of what it is that I am doing, and I hope that it helps. Let me know in the comments, thumbs it up if it does, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But I hope that this is going to help you and that you feel that you are on the road to recovery. Bye.